All right, welcome back. Marvin Jackson with Barry Barnes, Lou Holder, and Donna Hopkins. And we're going to talk about the Washington game, the home game against the Eagles. Let's start out with that. That's going to be a big game because that game can really if they win against the Eagles, it could really say, well, Washington has a shot, But if they lose, you go 3-5 and it doesn't look real good. Lou Holder, talk about what Washington has to do against the Eagles.
Well, first is the frustrating part that a couple of weeks ago, the marketing staff put out that there was a sellout. Who cares 3 weeks ago that there's a sellout versus the Philadelphia Eagles, knowing that Philly's going to be sending a lot of that green down 95. That was the first thing that was frustrating to me. It's like that was 3 weeks ago that they're saying we're announcing another sellout, right? So now you have, ironically, weirdly enough, Don and I were in the press box up there. That was one of the best games that Washington has played. I mean, we don't want moral victories, but it's not like the Washington doesn't have the talent. We all came in here saying the thing that's the most frustrating about this year, there is talent on every single position on the football field, right? The coaching staff, I mean, obviously they have to get them ready, but these are professional football players, right? Professional football players. So the Eagles have injuries, but look, they reload, they get other talent, they picked up a safety. They just keep it moving. But it's not just the Eagles game. If anybody can dial up schemes against Sam Howell and Eric Bieniemy, it's Bill Belichick, which is coming up soon after that. And then they got to go to Seattle. So if the sign that Donna and so many of us have seen in the locker room, if it says do your job, well, you might want to start doing your job, because right now there's no way a team with that much talent should even be fluttering at a below 500 record, right? The two teams, or the games that they won, are against teams that really aren't amounting to much. And the games that they have lost, the last two games, one win, coming in the last two contests, one win total between those two teams, and they just did not come up to the talent. So you're going to be at home. You've already lost two home games, right? You've already lost two home games. A third would be devastating.
And you know what? John Allen said also after the game, they need to get their minds together. Oh, yeah. No kidding. Because, this team is so inconsistent. 1 week, the offense is up. Then it's the defense. You don't know what team is going to show up from week to week. So that's the disturbing thing about this team. And like you look at Philadelphia, Jalen Hurts was in a knee brace the second half. So we don't know which quarterback is going to play. But it doesn't matter, because I always say that which team is going to show up Washington-wise. And we don't know which team is going to show up from week to week. And, Ron Rivera said something, and something was burning with when Barry was talking about this is a young team. They're still putting it together. They're still figuring out the offense. Hey, we started in training camp, and I understand Eric Bieniemy's offense, what he did in Kansas City, but this is not Kansas City. This is not the same talent quarterback. So they've got to dial it up of what they've got to use. And also, Ron Rivera talked about the fact that they're not going to cut anybody. They're not going to cut any coaches, players, bringing anybody in. But at this stage, 8 games into the season, you should be looking at everything as far as players that you got to bring in to make this team better. And for that statement to come out, I'm not understanding that, because we should be trying to make this team better. If we need to bring in more personnel as far as on that offensive line and all of those things to make this team better, you got to do that. But the key thing is that this team, Santana Moss said something to me after that Giants game. He said, everybody wants this team to be good. Everybody, but we've got to go with what this team is right now. This team is just not a good team right now, because if they were, we wouldn't have to worry about week in and week out this team not playing consistent ball. And Philadelphia, they were mad because this Commanders team played an outstanding game up there and barely lost that. And everybody has the page on this Commanders team right now. Bring the pressure, shake up Sam, shake up that offensive line, and you can dominate them. So I want to see what this coaching staff dial up this week to make this team better in preparing them for the face the Philadelphia Eagles.
Maybe Washington will be the only team that will figure out the brotherly shove. You know, Deron Payne and you know, those guys that have been talking. I mean, hey, this is your shot, right, Barry? What does Washington have to do, Barry, to win this game real quick, and then we can get to the Ravens?
Well, they have to get mad, basically, you know. And
like I did.
That's right, like Donna did. They have to get angry and look at themselves in the mirror and want to
Why do they
more.
have to get angry, Barry? Barry, you're a professional football player. Why do you have to get angry?
You should already be mad.
No, you brought up something. You brought up something very interesting, Barry. If 8 games into the season, with all the money that's being paid, right? Why do professional football players have to get angry?
Well, no, why? Because the only thing is, when they win that field, they have to find something inside them to say, okay, do I really want to go out there and make a business decision on the field?
Well, it should be in their pockets.
All these guys,
it should be in their pockets.
The only thing
money.
they worry about, a lot of times they worry about making sure that they can be able to make it off their field healthy. And that's not a good situation when you look at us and you look at people who come to support them and not play all 60 minutes in a game. And these guys got to have a want in their heart to really want to go out there and play. What I recognized last week and during the course of this season, they will start off fast and then in the second half hope that somebody will make a play to try to all of a sudden get that energy to pop up.
Barry, when did they ever start off fast? They start off slow.
If you look at the way how they trying to execute by going out there trying to pass the ball, one of the things that Lou had said earlier that I agree with 100%, they have to get Sam rolling out. Because Sam does very well throwing the ball on the run. They have to allow him to be comfortable so that he can be able to play in his ability physically so that he can be able to be more of an asset to the players on the field that need him. That's what they need to do most.
Already out of the blocks. The other team is already out of the blocks, and the Commanders are still trying to get out the blocks. That's what I'm talking about. They haven't started fast.
And you saw the way how the Giants they were doing all those stunts in the offensive line. And like I said, the offensive players, they have to pick up on those cues and block. And when Marvin had talked about how the running backs, like with Robinson, these guys got to want to block. They got to be able to want to get out there and actually get on the field and be professionals, like Lou said, and play ball the way how they expect it. They just can't do it only when they play the Eagles or the Cowboys.
And the coaches put them in good position. Hey, Barry, and the coaches put them in good position.
The coaches put them in a good position, but at the same time, the players still have to execute. There have been a lot of coaches out there that actually will have a good game plan, but if the players are not executing on the field, it's just going to make everything look a complete mess. So I understand the coaching situation. I agree with you 100%. I'm not on that sideline. The atmosphere on the sideline in the NFL is totally different. Trust me, I know. But it all comes down to execution. And if these guys not on the field, executing their blocks, making their routes, making the right decisions on the field, no matter what coach is out there, just give them the plays. If players don't execute, they're not going to be successful. And that's what we got with Washington, which I don't expect too much this year.
All right. Well, we don't have to say too much about the Ravens because we know they're going to execute against the Cardinals. I don't think there's any question that the Ravens are going to go out there and win that game. But if anybody had any questions about the Sideline Report, I mean, we really executed today. That's for sure. And Barry, this is your first time this season, and you did a good job. You and Donna really went at it, as always. And, of course, my man Lou Daddy. See, you're Barry Bad News Barnes, but I got Lou Daddy over here. So, Lou
Daddy.
Well, thanks so much, guys. And
Lou's a legend in this business. People just don't know this man's a legend in this business for many, many years. Yes, he is.
All right. Well, thanks so much, guys. Great job. And thanks, viewers, for watching. We always love when you watch this show. And we'll be back on the sideline next week, as always. Take care, everybody.